Live from the film room of the Mitch, alongside head coach Nikki McCray, Doug Ripley, welcoming you to a show that'll be named shortly, featuring Old Dominion women's basketball. And Coach, we got to get that out of the way. But first of all, congratulations again on the win against Auburn, and you're now less than a day before you take on your next opponent in Winthrop.
Yes, very good win for our basketball program. Auburn is a tough place to play, and a very good opponent where we were challenged in many ways, and I thought our team showed a lot of maturity, going in and playing against a very tough SEC opponent on their home floor. So we celebrated. We have a one-day celebration, and now we're on to the next opponent, we got to get ready for Winthrop for our Education Day tomorrow.
Of all the responses that you got, and I'm sure your phone blew up there following the win at Auburn, which one stood out first and foremost to you there?
I had so many, but just people were just so proud of just where we're headed in our program, and I think to me that this speaks volumes from friends, former players, old alumni here at Old Dominion. It was just really good to see that administration, but again, for us, every time we play on the court, I tell our team, you're expected to win, so every opponent, we go out and we're expected to win. So we were fortunate enough to get that win, and now we're on to the next opponent.
Speaking of which, it's Winthrop coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. and our annual Education Day will be on the air on ESPN Radio 94.1 starting at 10:30 a.m. with the Toyota pregame show. And Coach, what's the thoughts or emotions of your team going into this environment tomorrow with thousands of screaming kids expected to join you against Winthrop?
Well, first of all, we're just so thankful that we get a chance to play in a game like this, and I'm thankful that our young ladies get to do that because it will, hopefully, these young kids will get a chance to see these women that, come out and work hard on a daily basis and grind. They're great young women. They get their academics. They play for a great institution. So, we're hoping that everybody in the crowd will enjoy it. Yes, we've turned the page. Tomorrow should be a special day for our crowd, special day for our kids, but it's hard to prepare for that, but we tried to simulate it as much as possible by playing music, with screaming songs and kids and things like that. But, it should be a fun day for the teachers, for the kids, a lot of energy in the building.
Yeah, the thing I always get a kick out of is they're so excited that it supersedes sometimes the flow of the game. You're accustomed that when you're in your home environment, you're going to the free throw line, or it's going to be nice and quiet and reserved, in a typical home crowd. Kids are just so excited, they're just jumping out of their seats and they're going nuts. Obviously, when the other team goes to the free throw line or gets on defense, they've got, the folks at Chartway Arena have the visual cues that they can be able to get people to make some noise, but otherwise they're just excited to be there.
They are. They're out of school, so they're excited, to be out of school and just to, to be on be in front of some entertainment. And I think that's, that's always a good thing. But obviously, preparing for Winthrop, who's a very, good basketball team, and, they're small and fast, and, so we got to be ready. We got to be ready to rock and roll from the jump, because I know, they're going to be ready to go.
We're going to get to some of your questions that have been submitted in advance in just a second. I see Dan just posted, congrats on the great win against Auburn. Thank you for watching there. And if you have a question for Coach McCray, get it in now. We'll try to get that in before we sign off in just a little bit. But let's take care of some housekeeping first. We've been mentioning how we wanted to do a show name to match your theme, like we did similar last year. Last year we chose Back to Our Roots as the show theme. To go along with your team theme of being rooted together. This year it's Empower. And there's a few ideas came to mind, so I wanted to go ahead and throw them in your direction, see what you think.
Okay.
And if you like one enough that we're going to name it on the spot, you're the head coach. I'm going to let you make that call. If not, we'll table it and we'll come up with something here in the next couple of days. Mike and a few others came up with one that I'm kind of leaning against, and let me give the argument against. He went with Empower Hour, and also your one of your staff members came up with that as well. I'm opposed to it for a couple of reasons. First of all, our show's never an hour long.
Correct.
And secondly, I'm not trying to poach in naming the show another program or another tradition, if you will. On the religious side of things, there's there's the famous Hour of Power at Shepherd's Grove Church. On the other end of the spectrum, for those of you who love the beverages, the adult beverages, you've got the drinking game known as a Power Hour,
Okay.
and this is G-rated, so I'm not going to go into detail on what goes into that. So that one I think I kind of kept off the list, but there's a couple of other good ones that came up. Your assistant coach, Scepter Brownlee, came up with one of them. He told me, what about empowering moments with Coach McCray? Mm-hmm. The other one came from Ashley. She said just simply call it Empower, and what I would do is just add it to it and be Empower the story of 2019-2020 ODU women's basketball.
Okay. I think we got some good ones, but I'm not going to pick and choose. I think we got to talk about it because, I have to think about those things the same way, when we think about a theme and how that comes about. But yeah, I do think those are some very good options there.
So stay tuned. On the bottom of your screen for our next show, we'll have the new name, and we'll be able to talk about it. Yeah. Before we turn the page to Winthrop, quickly on the win against Auburn, how has your team responded in practice since then?
Team has been good. I think for us, we don't get too high with the highs, too low with the lows. Number one, our staff is not like that. Every game is different, and it is about us. It is about, us becoming the best version of ourselves. Yes, that win was good, but that's over. We have been prepping now for Winthrop. They are the next opponent for us, and that's how we approach it, and that's it. We are trying to get better, and the things that we need to do to get better. There were some things in that Auburn game that we didn't do well, that we worked on and we focused on. There's some things that Winthrop does that we have to focus on. So we have been focusing on us and how we can continue to get better as we move, into conference play.
Asia Wayne, though, just played out of her mind. 35 points, 10 rebounds, 4 steals, named Conference USA Player of the Week. To do that, and it seemed like talking to her in the postgame, to do that just hours away from her hometown seemed to carry quite a bit there. What was your impression in terms of what she gave there, but also where she can go with this as she progresses in the season?
Asia has grown so much. I thought she had a great off season. Obviously, she's physically fit, but she worked and got in the gym. For her, she just had a certain calmness about her. And she's just really coming into her own, she has an opportunity to do something really special, and she's got to continue to be consistent in that because, we tell her, our staff tell her, it is the ball is in her court, because she continues to get, better. I mean, she's such a competitor on every level. There are some things that she's working on getting better at, but when you tell her she's not good at something, she's going to figure out how to become great at it. And that, to me, is a true champion who really just wants to be great at her craft. But, as she continues to mature, those things are going to happen. But I'm really excited about her future and her, just her being consistent. That game is over with. We got to just stay hungry, stay humble, and continue to get better, which she will.
After coming up empty, though, against Campbell, how gratifying was it for you, or what were your emotions by the way that Victoria Morse responded in Game 2?
Well, I think Vicky was, Vicky is a champion. She's been with us the longest. She understands our culture, what's expected. She absolutely loves her teammates, and one of the most selfless players that I've ever known, and I've been around a lot of them, and she is so true to that. But she was happy for her teammates. It wasn't her night, but she came back just like the true champion that she is, and she found a way. She found a way to grind it out with her sisters and help us get a win.
Half the baskets were assisted. Taylor Edwards, who was your assist leader and one of the top assist leaders in Conference USA last year, had 5 of them. But one player that really stood out to me, and I thought it came at just the right time for you all, and that was Mariah Adams. And Snoop, among all of your players, really got the highest marks when it came to from last year to this year and the work she put in during the offseason to get better. how much of an added feature is that for you to know that you can turn to somebody like her or to Amaya Register to be a steady hand at the point like they were against Auburn? Snoop, for example, 6 assists, 1 turnover against 40 minutes of pressure there from the Tigers.
Yeah, I thought our coaches did a really good job of preparing us for the pressure. And I thought we were very poised under pressure. In particular, Snoop. She's tall, she's long, she can see over defense. But I was really impressed with her ability to ball fake. I mean, her ball fakes set a lot of things up for herself to see, because the defense had to react to it, and she just made the play. But she's another one that has really improved over the summer. Really got in the gym, continues to get in the gym. She just has all of this talent to just be something special, and she's just coming into that every day. But she's a very good defender. She's got great vision. She can score the ball. I want her to score more. But that's something that she's just got to continue to see. But I like where she is right now, and we just want to continue to help her, reach her potential.
Touching on or expanding on it just beyond Snoop, Full Court Press came in with a question this morning on Twitter. He said, you had the ladies ready for the Auburn trap. It was like watching a clinic on how to attack it. They had great spacing, were patient, anticipated where the trap was coming from, and made great decisions to beat it. Love watching fundamentally sound basketball. His question is, with our depth, will we see any trapping out of the zone of our own this year?
Oh, definitely. We will press, we will trap. We're just trying to, figure out when the right times to do that. We're only 2 games in, so that's something that we definitely are working on every day. But yeah, we are a team that will be more aggressive in our trapping and in our zones.
Okay, good questions there, and we'll get to one more in just a second. But let's talk about your new signees. You signed 3 to national letters of intent in the last few days, the early signing period, wrapping up as we speak here over the next few days. And of course, go to odusports.com for the full write-up, not only in terms of who signed with women's basketball, but a variety of sports also in their early signing periods. And you can find out more details, again, by going to the new and improved odusports.com. Correct me if I'm wrong on pronunciations here, because I haven't had a chance to go over this with you. Skyla Travis.
Yes.
Asia Thompson.
Yes.
Asia Hudson's already with us. Sorry, Boogie. And then Lene Wheaton.
Yes.
Tell us about the 3 of them together, where you see them fitting into the mold and advancing this program forward.
Well, we're definitely excited about these 3 young ladies. We feel like we have size, athleticism, and skill that will immediately impact our team. In particular, Skyla, she is, she's so different than what we have right now, and just a person and a player that can score, on different levels. Inside, outside, she can rebound. She's a shot blocker. She's athletic, but she's going to give us instant post presence on the inside and on the outside. But her ability to defend is second to none. So I'm really excited about her. She's going to fit right in with what we do. Asia Thompson, who's from Dallas, she reminds me a lot of Asia Wayne. She's physical, but she plays for one of the top high schools in the country. So she is used to playing in big games. She understands what winning looks like and what sustained success looks like. But she's a competitor. She's aggressive. She just does so many things well. But she's got great size. I will tell you, physically fit, she can play right now from a physical standpoint. Sometimes when freshmen come in, they're not where they need to be, but she's got a strong body that she's just going to be able to impact our team again, because she got a great basketball mind and she just does a lot of things well and brings that toughness. Lene Wheaton, from Arkansas, but she moved to San Antonio. Just fun, fast, aggressive, scores mentality guard. She's small, but she plays big. She can get in the paint. She can score it on all 3 levels. She's just got a wonderful smile, and she's one of those players, when you watch her, she's electric, kind of like Taylor. And, you need that. But her personality is great. But she's going to add to our guard depth and and just bring that aggressive mentality, which is how we like to play, which is fast. So I'm excited about all three of them making an immediate impact with our program.
What stood out to me when they came out, and I'll get you to add to this, they seem to fit the mold in terms of those that you've recruited here and who have played for you now in this your third year at the helm.
Yes.
Versatile, where they're not going to be subjected to just one position on the floor. They can play just about any position on the floor, and title tested. If they're not playing for championships, or if they're not winning for championships, they're playing for championships almost every year. Those seem to be the mainstays in terms of who you're going after. Am I on the right path?
Oh, definitely. We got a blueprint here, and we know what we need. But we always want to bring, kids in here that are good character and understand what it means to put that uniform on. Because these young ladies here, they are laying a foundation. So we want people that can just come in and fit the mold. But you got to have winners. You got to have competitors. You got to have people that know what winning looks like, and that have been in those situations. Because you can't say you're a winner if you haven't been in those situations. And we're just thankful that we have three young ladies that know what that looks like.
Let's get to questions from the audience. First of all, those who are chiming in live, Dan came up with another show recommendation. He says empowering chat.
Okay.
I'm going to have to throw that one onto the list of options there for you
you
to ponder. Stephen asks, is Asia Wayne okay and playing tomorrow? Talking about, of course, how she turned her ankle late in the Auburn game.
Yes, Asia has been prepping for practice. We have been, limiting her, but to my knowledge, and I haven't spoken with our trainer yet, but I don't foresee her missing Education Day.
Okay. Staying on the injury front, Ashley asked a question here, and she's asked it a few times, so I want to go ahead and make sure we get the answer here. Well, she asked a couple. I'll get to the second one in a second. She says, how did Maggie and Mackenzie injure their knees, and will both get medical red shirts?
Definitely. Both we're obviously it's unfortunate that we don't have, Maggie, who was a starter for us last year, and, obviously someone that's very a voice for our team. And obviously Mackenzie, but both of them injured their knee. Maggie injured her knee in the summertime. Mackenzie injured her knee this fall in a practice. And yes, they both are medical red shirts, and we will have them back next year. So great opportunity for them to learn and see things as we see as coaches, but also continue to contribute to our team with their voices and their basketball IQ, and helping players that that are not quite getting it, just still being able to be a instrumental in our team's success.
Dan asks about Marie Reichert, her blocking ability. What do you attribute it to? Timing, length?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything. Marie, being from overseas and having a chance to play with her national team, she's known as a defender, but she's got great timing, she's got great length and athleticism, but her basketball IQ is really high, and I've been very impressed with that. She can really score the basketball, and getting her to understand, we need you to score. We know you're going to defend. We need you to score. For her, it's just the physicality of the game. Just, the more she plays, significant minutes, you're going to see that. But just being physical, that's the thing that she has to continue to get better at. But excited where she is, excited about her growth and what she's going to do for this program.
Of course, Old Dominion, and highlighted really by what Wendy Larry did during the 90s,
Yes.
but even back into the 70s with Ing Nissen, we've had a proud tradition of bringing international players over here and them making an impact. Ashley asked a question, how did you find Marie with respect to where she came from Germany?
Well, one of our associate head coaches, Keith Friedman, he has a contact overseas that knew me when I was at Tennessee, and but just he has so much respect for the person that's overseas, that kind of talked to him about Marie and some of the other players over there, and it was just one of those things. It was the word of mouth. We saw her on tape. We didn't get a chance to go over there, but Keith has tremendous amount of confidence in this young man that kind of told us about Marie. We saw her on film, then we brought her here, and we were able to work her out, and we we saw some really good things and how she could help us and be different than what we have. So, it wasn't me. It's a credit, to Coach Freeman who knew the contact. And Marie's family has been great. Her brother here is in the States up in Albany. So she's been a great piece for our team.
And great questions, everybody. Thank you all for submitting it. Certainly appreciate the interactivity, and keep them coming over the course of this year and our shows that we bring you throughout the course of this season. You've got a lot to get back to here in just a little bit. You've actually been in the middle of meetings, individual player meetings, the last hour or so, and then we'll continue beyond our show. When it comes to these meetings, when you get together one-on-one, you're somebody that, at least from my view, watching you practice and watching you coach this team both on and off the floor, you're very quick to hold somebody accountable for their actions. Especially if they do something out of line. Very, very good attention to detail in how you go about, not only in terms of setting a game plan, but just general tenets of how you operate your program on and off the floor. That's just what I see when I watch you go about your business. When it comes to getting together one-on-one, how does Coach McCray one-on-one compare and contrast to Coach McCray when she's with the team as a whole?
Nothing different. I mean, you have to be consistent and you have to be who you are. Our players know how I operate. They know how our other coaches operate. First of all, they know that I love them. They know that I care about them. And when you know that and you have a relationship with your players, then you're able to coach them a certain way. And sometimes, they may not always like, what I say or how I get on them, but we don't hold it personal because of where it comes from. But how I am with them, it's no different. They can come into my office and have a general conversation with me. We talk about things. We laugh, we cry, we do all of these things. It's just good conversation. But you always want to make sure your kids know what you're thinking. And I'm really big on making sure that our kids are in a good place. Whether they have a good practice, bad practice, I'm going to call them. I'm going to be who I am and just check on them, because as a parent, those things are important to me. It just is. And so when I'm having conversations with them, it is being very direct and real with them, but just knowing that they can come and express themselves to me and understand, just know we can figure some things out, together.
So I think good timing in terms of having these meetings, because business picks up for you all.
Absolutely.
You host Winthrop tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. in the Education Day. You go to Virginia Sunday at 2. And then next week during Thanksgiving break, while everybody's at home, you're going to be across the country with your team playing in an event hosted by Cal Poly, playing Cal Poly, and then also Idaho. So let's start with Winthrop. They're 1-1. They lost to Iona by 7. They came from 11 down after that at North Carolina Central and beat them by 10. They're picking up 20 turnovers a game offensively, but they're forcing 17. Rebounding margins been pretty solid, not shooting particularly well. What about them beyond just the numbers stands out to you as you set the stage for Winthrop?
They know how to play on the road, and that's the biggest thing. But they're small, they're fast, they're going to press you, they're going to show you different defenses to try to trip you up. We just got to be calm, we got to be poised, we got to play our style of game. That's what we have to do. But they're a team that, they can get hot, they can turn you over with their defense. They love to get in the paint. And if you take that away and they're knocking down shots, they could trip you up and they can beat you. But for us, we just got to focus on what we have to do. And we got to be solid defensively. We got to rebound the basketball. We got to play our style of basketball.
Jashay Whitfield, somebody to watch out for. She's a true freshman. She's got 35 points, 17 rebounds combined in the first 2 games for Winthrop. And again, you play them at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll go more into the X's and O's on our Toyota pregame show that starts at 10:30 for tomorrow's game. Then Sunday at 2, you go to Virginia, a team you came up 6 points short against last year here at Chartway Arena. The big news that came out of the offseason, or just as the season was getting set to begin for the Cavaliers, their 6'9" center, Felicia Iotan, her playing career cut short, unfortunately, due to a medical condition. How has that changed how Virginia plays as a team watching them on film?
For me, I have not looked at Virginia.
Yeah.
I have only been focused on Winthrop, and that is the task at hand, and that's what I keep our kids focused on. So, our coaches have their different scouts. They probably looked at the opponent, but for me, I've just been focused on Winthrop.
One thing I can add though on Virginia, they're playing a really tough schedule here to begin this season. They've already played 4 games. Their most recent one, they came up just 3 points short against 13th ranked Kentucky. Tonight they're up in Hartford taking on number 4 UConn. They'll play U Sunday, then host JMU the following weekend, host number 11 UCLA, and then go to Rutgers all before December the 5th. So it's a big stretch for second-year head coach Tina Thompson, of course, that you have a lot of familiarity with from your playing days as well.
Definitely. I think any coach, you want to put a schedule together that prepares you for your non-conference schedule. For us, we feel like we got a good schedule that will help us in our conference tournament, conference schedule, and I'm sure that's what Coach Thompson is doing as well, because obviously they play in a very good conference, and teams are gonna face night in and night out. But that's what you want to do as a coach. You want to make sure that you're putting your team in the best position to be successful in conference.
So what are the most important keys for you all going about your business in these next few days with the 2 games on the slate?
I think number one for us is, as we continue to prepare for Winthrop, playing our style of basketball, making sure that we're solid defensively in our ability to rebound the basketball. That's what we have to do, and then we got to get ready for the next opponent.
Listen to it all week long on ESPN Radio 94.1, your flagship home of the ODU Sports Radio Network, starting tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. as the Monarchs welcome Winthrop for Education Day. Tip-off 11 a.m. inside Chartway Arena. Coach, looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So for Old Dominion women's basketball head coach Nikki McCray, I'm Doug Ripley, thanking you for joining us on a show that will be named next time we join you. When that will happen, we want to invite you to stay tuned here and throughout a variety of social media outposts to see when and where we will appear next. Could be on the other side of the coast, but we will see you tomorrow either way at Chartway Arena.